And they're just looking at it there for you. Just playing with it.
Oh yeah, I can't. I'm still on the walls there.
Scheduled for 9:10. I know it was a big deal years ago to get everybody graded. After, hey, how you doing? After So even if your engine doesn't do a transport, it still has to be that big of yeah, I've had my cars right. If you ride to volume, it's like, okay, you got to do your report within, you're supposed to do it at the hospital, you're supposed to do it within an hour or something like that. I got to think of it. And then it can't find the system kind of work. I work part-time, I keep up with that. In and out of there, either out of there or something. So I just got to think of it. It's just putting a whole report there. I'm by myself. Well, I don't work there. I'll probably up there. I'll think you're Now, do they still even have a facility up there in Jennersville? You know, it used to be the SCCFC. Is there Jennersville Hospital? Okay, because I've been up that area. They get high up around the hospital. And then also they're who are they affiliated with? No, it's Fox Front. Okay. Because I remember years ago when they first opened that place had a really good reputation. They were very specialized for being small.
Check sound check 1 2 testing. 1 2. Microphone test. 1 2 3. Sound check. Last sound check 1 2 1 2 3.
Good morning, everyone. This is the live internet stream of the 2014 Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. My name is John Busby, and I'll be your host for today's event. This fourth annual event is sponsored by TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust, and it's taking place at the 300 Delaware Avenue building in Wilmington, Delaware. It's going to be going on all day today, so even if you're not in the Wilmington area right now, plan to come down and spend your lunch hour with us. Our sponsor, TD Bank, is hosting things all day long outside on the deck to give you an opportunity to watch these folks go under. The screen you're looking at right now is Irv Levin, and he is getting ready to go down over the edge. 17 stories, 222 feet. This is the 300 Delaware Avenue building. It's owned by Brandywine Realty Trust, another sponsor of the event. There you've got a shot of looking up, and that's what Irv is about to look down on when he goes. We want you to be part of this interactive broadcast today. If you're a tweeter, please tweet your support to people at #OverTheEdgeDE. We'll be sure to get it up on the air and mention your support of them. Also, if you want to tell us where you're watching from, we're expecting an audience literally worldwide. As we know, all 70 of our repellers have people who would want to see this, not only who live here in the state of Delaware, but around the country and even around the world. I've heard people are going to be watching. So we would love to hear from you. And if you're not, certainly tweet us. If you're a tweeter, again, #OverTheEdgeDE. You see that in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Or you can email us at info@sode.org, and just in the subject line, give us your name. If you just want to give us your first name, that's fine, and the city in which you are broadcasting from. And so we are going to be on the air. Our last repeller is scheduled to go at 4 o'clock, and we plan to be on the air that entire time. We'll have some guests here, including some longtime volunteers of Special Olympics. Some Special Olympics athletes will be stopping in. This is the first time in the 4 years that we have streamed this event live online. And to the best of our knowledge, we made some phone calls around the country. We talked to the Over the Edge USA company. And to the best of our knowledge, we are the first state, the first production crew to do this live online from start to finish. Other states have done some live interviews as things happen, those types of things, but we are the first to literally broadcast live to you all day. Special thanks to our production staff, executive producer Jimmy Smith. Your camera operators from the different angles today are Jessica Philippek, Nina Raspa, Mike Winsley, and Jennifer DeLuca. We appreciate them being with us today. There on your screen you see Tom Bernadzikowski, a longtime volunteer for Special Olympics. He's in the position on the top of the roof where they basically tell you to sit back and start walking backwards. So our first two repellers, Irv Levin on your left, Tom Bernadzikowski on your right. Once we switch, you'll see when we go down the building, their names will switch, and that's what we want you to see. We will do our best. Jimmy Smith doing an excellent job keeping the graphic state with us. We have Katie Johnson, intern for Special Olympics, who's helping organize things behind the scenes here. And so you can hear the MC in the background starting to get the things moving on the ground. There's a nice crowd out front, and you see there Tom Bernadzikowski on the right. He is starting to head down the screen there, and now you're looking up on the building. Tom Bernadzikowski is on your left, and Irv Levin hasn't sat down yet. Tom, as I mentioned, is a longtime volunteer for Special Olympics. He actually started as a committee member for the state basketball tournament more than 20 years ago. His stints have included working full-time for Special Olympics North America. He currently is a pediatric nurse practitioner for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. He has been a coach, a volunteer, a board member. He's served on the Special Olympics medical team. And so he's seen it all in Special Olympics Delaware. This is actually his third year rappelling. And I mention that because of the 70 people who are rappelling today, 41% of them have rappelled before. And that's an exceptional rate when you consider nationally our understanding is states usually have about a 5% repeat rate of rappellers. So the fact that 41% of these folks are rappelling for a second, third, or fourth time even. We have several fourth timers. That is just an incredible thing, and a tribute to the staff, not only of Over the Edge, but Special Olympics Delaware, who put this event on from start to finish. So again, you have tuned into the 4th annual Over the Edge to benefit Special Olympics Delaware, sponsored by TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust. You may have heard in the background there the MC talk about a little rain outside. They will continue to send people down the building in a drizzle as long as it is safe. Obviously, if there is any lightning, that will, that will play in a factor like it would anywhere, and they will halt the rappel temporarily. We hope our production does not get interrupted because of rain or weather, and we will do our best to stay on the air as much as we can. As you see, Irv Levin now taking that first step backwards. We've got our first tweet in. Hannah Oyviken from Sweetbriar, Virginia, watching what's going on here. So our first out-of-stater watching from Virginia. Again, tweet us at #OverTheEdgeDE. Let us know where you're watching from so we can tell everyone else the reach that this broadcast has here. Again, Tom Bernadzikowski on the left, Irv Levin on the right. And there you see a little bit of our fan support at the bottom. A couple Special Olympics athletes there cheering them on. You see the TD Bank tent there. As we talked about, there's a lot of support of our edgers here. There will be throughout the day. People pop in and out. There's bleachers set up there for people to watch. You can see the traffic going by. It's quite something when you're driving down the city here and all of a sudden you look up and you see two people rappelling down the building. Special Olympics owns the rights to this over-the-edge event, so this is the only time of the year you'll ever see this happening, minus window washers, I guess. Irv Levin is going down on the right there. He's a first-time rappeller. Irv's a longtime supporter. His son Jamie participates in Special Olympics. Irv and his wife Phyllis, if that name sounds familiar, when Irv does the polar bear plunge, he literally doubles any money that is donated to his cause, and he literally has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for Special Olympics over the years. So Irv, a longtime supporter. He's a first-time rappeller. He was a little bit nervous coming down, and I'm laughing here because I know Tom Bernazikowski requested the national anthem to come down on his rappel, and it looks like that is happening outside. And so they are making their way slowly down the building. It looked like they slowed down just a little bit as the anthem went off. Those are some technicians, if you're wondering who's dangling over the edge. To get up on the roof, you have to go through a training process. You have to be equipped. It doesn't matter whether you're up there actually handling the rope or literally you're doing something like taking pictures or just as a volunteer. It's not the type of thing where they let anybody up there. So any shots you see from the roof, you will see everybody in a helmet, and they have all gone through a brief training of the do's and the don'ts up there on the roof. I'd say they look like they're about halfway down. Again, it's 17 stories, 222 feet. If you're one of those exact people, I was told it was 221 feet 6 inches, but we decided to make it simple for everybody. We would go 222 feet. So again, Irv Levin on your right from Wilmington, Delaware. Claymont, I think he actually is formerly from. Tom Bernazikowski from Chesapeake City, Maryland. Both longtime supporters of Special Olympics. So only appropriate that they're getting that applause at the bottom there. A couple Special Olympics athletes going by there. And so our first two rappellers are coming down at the end here, and once they land and get off, I'm going to bring on Jimmy Smith, our executive producer, and we're going to talk a little bit about this production. As we mentioned, this is the first time that we have ever streamed this online, and to our knowledge, the first time a company has ever done this. That last edge there, you can see, is a little bit of a lip from the second story to the bottom, and it's not something that the rappellers actually have to manage themselves. But it is more that the people at the bottom, the belayers, pull them out so they don't have to worry about hitting or anything. So Irv Levin is at the bottom. I know he was a little bit nervous about his first rappel, as much as he's done for Special Olympics. You know, anytime you do something for the first time, it's a little bit nervous. Irv has done hang gliding before, which, quite frankly, I would think I'd rather rappel than hang glide. It's a little bit safer, I would think. There's a 100% safety rate for over the edge. They've run hundreds and hundreds and thousands of events over the years, completely safe. I'm not sure you could say the same about hang gliding, but Irv has done hang gliding. He's a polar bear plunger. He's done a little bit of rock climbing, and now he can add going over the edge for Special Olympics Delaware to his list. Tom Bernazikowski, he says he's not done a single interesting thing in his life, which is kind of funny because I know for a fact Tom has spent weeks literally over in the country of Haiti helping be part of a partnership over there to provide medical equipment, supplies, and services. So when he says he's done nothing interesting in life, I think anytime you spend your vacation days over in Haiti giving back to others, that certainly doesn't cause. But anybody who knows Tom, that is his sense of humor, so that does not surprise me at all. And you can see him dangling a little bit. What might have happened, sometimes if this is such a safe event, if you start going down too fast, you actually they stop the rope. And so, in other words, they won't let you go any faster until you slow down. And now you can see Tom now going smoothly the rest of the way. And so that's what happened to him, I would imagine, as he started going a little bit quick. You can hear the applause in the background. So Tom Bernazikowski and Irv Levin are our first two edgers coming down to the bottom. Everybody received a sheet of what time they were going to rappel, and they try to stick to that time as close as possible. Irv and Tom were scheduled to go at 9 o'clock, so they're actually a little bit ahead of schedule. I can tell you coming up, and we're not sure of the order, will be Don Sloan, Alan Emerson, Amy, and Ralph Citrullo. They are scheduled for that first time slot. And so the four of them, my guess, are up on the roof of the building in training right now. What happens is you do go up to the top of the roof. There is a one-story structure, and so you climb the ladder to get up to the top of that structure, and then you will get a test run. You get an opportunity to feel how it's going to feel when you literally go 17 stories instead of the one story. And from what I'm told, the technicians, the job that they do up top to make people feel comfortable is just unbelievable. I've never seen anybody. I've been part of this event from the beginning. In the past, I've emceed outside, and I often talk to the people after they land, and every single one of them has the same reaction about the technicians, and that is that they make you feel so comfortable that it just makes the experience that much greater. So Irv Levin and Tom Bernazikowski, they are down at the bottom, and Alan Emerson, I believe, is going to be one of the folks up on the roof coming up. We'll let you know which rope he is going to be on. And so anybody who has tuned in to see Alan Emerson, get ready. He's going to be going soon. And 9 o'clock is the time, a little bit after 9. We were scheduled to go on the air officially at 9. We came on a little early. And so if you're just joining us, this is the live internet stream of the 2014 Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. It's the fourth year for this event, sponsored by TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust. It's at the 300 Delaware Avenue building in Wilmington, Delaware. A great spectator sport. So if you're in the city of Wilmington, come on down and check it out. If you're not from Wilmington, you want to drive into the city, it's very easy to get to. There's parking garages all within about 100 yards of here. Very simple thing, fun thing to do. TD Bank with branch is located right at the bottom of the 300 Delaware Avenue building. They're going to be providing things throughout the day, refreshments, hot dogs at lunch. And so come on out and check it out. They've got a lot of neat giveaways to make it fun for the people that do stop by. So great opportunity to come down and spend the day with us. Weather is slight chance of showers this morning. You can see by the people you're looking at up on the roof that have the rain gear that there is drizzling outside a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, they will continue to go through the drizzle. They would stop if winds kicked up too high or there was lightning in the area. We're actually not expecting either of those from the forecast we've been given. It's basically just the wind that we are expecting at this time. So tweet us at #OverTheEdgeDE. Let us know where you're from, what you're doing. And I'm going to bring on Jimmy Smith now. Jimmy's with us today. He's the executive producer of this, Jimmy. And, you said to me last night that, do you want to learn more about this? And, there's 5 computer screens sitting on this desk. And my guess, I see your phone hooked up. And so it is quite a production there as those of you watching are looking at the backside of Alan Emerson, who is getting ready to come down. Tom Bernazikowski has already landed. He is safely on the ground. We're going to try to get Tom in here and talk to him about his experience when he comes down here. And Jimmy has just put up there, you can see Don Sloan is going to be on the rope that's on your left, and that looks like Don right there in the screen. So we're trying to do our best. Jimmy's doing a great job having the names hooked up with who's up both on the roof and coming down. We know most of you are not as excited to see him sitting up there on the ledge. You're more excited about seeing him come down. And so we're going to have Irv Levin on in just a second. He just popped in here, but I first want to talk to Jimmy. Jimmy, what's your reaction about doing this event for the first time? I know this is almost second nature to you. I started thinking about, how many hours upon hours you need to set this up. I think you've spent about 2 hours putting this whole thing together.
Well, you're underselling it a tad bit. We did a lot of. I've done a lot of planning, done a lot of drawing, done a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
And obviously we do this a lot with the University of Delaware in athletic streams and games where I'm not running 300 feet of cable off the top of a building. So things are a little bit different. I very much appreciate you guys kind of giving us this opportunity to be a part of this. And very, very cool event. Something we'll never probably do.
We offered you a chance to do it for free.
And I did not. I'm honored to be a part of it in any way we can help Special Olympics. And thank you to everybody watching. If you're watching on the website, if you want to take it with you on the go, Ustream, the service that we're using, has an app. So you can download that app on your phone or your iPad or anything else. So you can take this with you on the go if you need to be out and want to still watch your edger. edge.
Right.
I guess that's the verb
Great.
throughout the day. So,
Yep.
again, thank you guys for letting us be a part of this, and we'll be taking care of you for the rest of the day.
All right, great, Jimmy. Thank you. And Jimmy's going to pop on and off throughout the day to let us know. We might talk about some different camera angles and stuff like that. And we're going to get Irv Levin over here on a headset when he gets a chance, and we're going to talk to him about his first over-the-edge event that he just landed, and he came in. So he obviously survived, and he doesn't look like he's too out of breath there. And Irv, pull up a little bit closer here to me there. We've got Don Sloan and Alan Emerson up on the screen getting ready to go down the edge. We'll tell you a little bit about them in a second. Irv, your first over-the-edge event is over. What do you think? Yeah? No?
It was pretty neat. Now, next time I do it, I'll do a little slower and I'll look around some more.
There you go. Well, you got a couple tweets. Hannah tweeted you, congrats on your first over the edge, Irv Levin. So she's letting the world know that you finally did it there. We've got another tweet there from Kara Paprosky to Jimmy Smith. Rappel, do it for me. So, Jimmy, somebody's calling for you to do it. She's 2 blocks away. Kara, come on over, and maybe you can talk Jimmy into going over the edge here in person. Again, that's Don Sloan you're looking at, who has just taken that first step backwards. Irv, you know, what does that first step backwards feel like?
Well, the first step backwards, I wasn't really too concerned about because I went down the one story, the training run, and that was pretty easy, 1 story. So that's all I said to myself. I'm going down 1 story.
Right.
So it was no different.
All right, and then you got 1 story, and you had 16 to go. Did your mindset change at all at that point?
Yeah. Let me get down on the street real in a hurry. I went by. Tom had started before me, and I think I flew by him. He yelled at me. He yelled out, says, "Slow down, Irv. Let me get up to you."
Again, Don Sloan there in the picture coming down. You can see him dancing down a little bit. You got Alan Emerson. Alan Emerson has gone down for he's going down for the 2nd year, and so you can see he's kind of dancing now as well. Irv, we talked about you and your wife Phyllis and your generosity over the years, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars to Special Olympics, and Jamie, your son, has been in Special Olympics. So this is my 25th year. I think he's been in it from the start as far as I've been here. How has Special Olympics impacted Jamie's life?
Well, it's very important to him. It gets him out of the house. It gets him exercising. It gets him meeting other people, and he really enjoys it. He enjoys all that good stuff, and he enjoys getting medals.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. He may not practice too hard during the practice sessions or previous 8 practice sessions, but when it comes to the competition, it's a different story. He's running fast. He knows there's something bad at the end of the finish line for him or whatever he's doing. So it's a great thing for him, and it makes us feel good that he's happy and enjoys it.
Yeah, and that's what Special Olympics is all about. So tell me, Irv, what's easier, over the edge or jumping in that ocean in February?
You're not going to believe it, but I say over the edge, it's fabulous. I love it.
Yeah?
And I'm back.
You sign you up for next year?
You got me hooked.
Well, that's a great segue, Irv. Thank you for joining us very much today, and thanks for going over the edge. That's a great segue talking about next year. If you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, geez, I would love to do this, you can still come down and do it. It's $1,100 to go over the edge, or if you want to sign up for next year, you can go to the SODE.org website. We've already got the online registration set up for last year. It looks like Alan and Don have landed. As I mentioned, Alan Emerson, a 2nd-year edger. He works for the Delaware Claims Processing Facility. His nephew has participated in Special Olympics, so he definitely has his heart in the right place for this cause. Wanted to thank some fundraising supporters: Tina at Poppycock Tattoo, Linda at the Nomad Bar, Jen Fallon, Karina, Kitty, Jason, and Charissa at Delaware Claims. So he's raised money for Over the Edge. As I mentioned, it was $1,100 to join this year. People raising money year-round. We had several people, I think it was 9, who raised $2,000. They'll receive their own personalized video. One of the things that Alan did was he let people submit tattooed designs for $5 each, and then he picked one at random and got it tattooed at the Poppycock Tattoos, and so that was a way that he raised money. The winning design was a picture of his cat, Mr. White, wearing a monocle and a top hat. So Alan Emerson and Don Sloan, number 3, and number 4 at the bottom here. With me now is Tom Bernadzikowski. Tom is a 3rd-time edger, and Tom, I was looking over your bio and talking about how you've never done anything exciting, interesting, or worthwhile in your life, and we talked about your trips to Haiti and how you've been involved in Special Olympics for over 20 years. This is your third year, and you talked about your wife, who happens to be the executive director of Special Olympics, Ann Gruner, convincing you to do this. This is the first time you've done it as officially husband and wife, because before that you were just engaged, and obviously they say sometimes when you get married things get old and things change, but she still runs the roost in your house, obviously. But this is something you've been doing for 3 years. Does it get any easier, any different, any more exciting one way or the other?
I think there are some maybe less unknowns because you're at least familiar with the process, but right. I think it's still a thrill every time. It's not boring at all. It's not casual. I still think it's an excitement and a sort of a rush when you get up on the roof. It's an excitement and a rush when you go over. And then it's just a heck of a lot fun coming down. And
you've been part of Special Olympics in just about every role there is. You started out as a volunteer 20 years ago with our basketball tournament. You ended up running that tournament, the committee there. You went on to work for Special Olympics North America. You're still part of our medical team and do various things here. And what have you seen? What makes you continue to give back to this organization?
Now, I think, well, if you've met any of the Special Olympics athletes, or if you've met their families, or if you've had a chance to interact with them, you know what the answer to that question is. And I think when you do have a chance to interact with those folks, it does change your view of them, changes your view of the world, changes the way you look at a lot of things. And so it's a phenomenal organization, and it isn't just the competitions. There are professional and personal growth and development initiatives. I know you guys do. I don't know all of them. You have medical initiatives and healthcare things, and just a whole host of things, even just beyond the competitions. Even though I know that's the core of the program. So it really is. It's you see people's lives changed, and change. Those people change the communities they live in. So it's a beautiful thing.
Right, and it's great what you've been able to do for Special Olympics, raising money, volunteering, and all that. I believe you've jumped out of an airplane, is that correct?
I have.
Okay, yes. So that list that you've done nothing exciting or interesting is completely invalid.
Well, that was an accident.
That's why I've thrown it to the side there. All right, so you've jumped out of an airplane. You've now gone over the edge for the third time. Is there anything, thrill-seeking people do that you haven't done yet that you plan to do? You got married, so that's a big checklist off your bucket list.
No, I don't know. I don't really. I mean, I just enjoy lots of different things. So I don't know. I don't know that I have the leisure time to pursue them all full time. But whether it's out of a plane or whether it's mountain climbing or rappelling or doing over the edge and those things. It's all just a lot of fun. Adds a lot of dimensions and interesting things to your life.
Great. Well, thank you for being part of today's event. Thank you. For the past 3 years, you've been going over the edge for Special Olympics. I assume you'll make it 4 next year. I'm not going to hold you to that, but I'm going to remind you and our audience, if you are interested in signing up for next year, go to SODE.org, click on the Over the Edge banner, and you will see plain and clear you can click on and sign up for next year. You only need $50 today, and then you have 12 months to raise the $1,100. Tom, thanks very much for not only going over the edge, but stopping by to be on the air.
My pleasure.
All right. Have a good rest of the day.
Bye-bye.
If you're just tuning in, this is the live internet stream of the 2014 Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. This 4th annual event, sponsored by TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust, is taking place at the 300 Delaware Avenue building in Wilmington, Delaware. We'll have 70 people go over the edge today. They've each raised $1,100 for Special Olympics. Several of them have raised more than a minimum requirement, and 10 of them, I believe, have raised over $2,000 and will have a personal video done of their rappel. Sponsors, in addition to TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust, are Delaware Law Enforcement for Special Olympics Delaware. They're involved not only in today's event, but several events throughout the year. Their signature event, of course, is the 160-mile Torch Run, which this year takes place on June 4th through the 6th, leading up to the Special Olympics Delaware Summer Games. The kickoff for that is June 4th at 7 o'clock. Down in Rehoboth Beach. I'll have the honor of emceeing that event, and I've done that a few years before, and I can tell you it is a really neat way to spend a summer evening at the beach. So even if you don't live in the Rehoboth Beach area, come on down and stop by and see that. It really is fascinating to see that torch take off for 160 miles. Delaware is the only state in the country that runs its torch leading up to Summer Game throughout the entire state, similar to what the real Olympics do around the country that the host is. So special thanks to Delaware law enforcement. They have raised in 28 years more than $4.8 million for Special Olympics Delaware. Also, Sheraton Suites in Wilmington, they provided the lodging for our over-the-edge staff and technicians. And the Delaware Rock Gym, they hosted a reception for folks at their Rock Gym, which is located in Bear, Delaware, and it gave people, like you heard Irv talk about, climbing a rock wall to get a little bit sense of what it's all about. Yesterday was Media Day here at Over the Edge. We had several radio personalities who went over the edge. Melanie Armstrong and Rick Jensen from the WDEL, Gina Paletti from WSDW, Dana McDonald from Cool 101.3, and Steve Mons from Delaware 105.9 News Talk. They not only went over the edge yesterday, they helped talk about the event leading up to it, and I know they're chattering about it. I've seen tweets and social media things about it today, so they are talking about it as well.
It's a year-round effort made by these officers in every police municipality to raise funds and awareness for the Special Olympics. Their signature event is a 160-mile torch run leading up to Summer Games. Takes place from Oakland Beach to Newark, June 4th through 6th. Coming up.
Once again, if you want to tweet us, #OverTheEdgeDE, wish somebody luck, give us a shout out, let us know where you are tuning in from. You can also, if you're not a Twitter and you want to talk to us at info@sode.org, you can go ahead and send us an email, and we want to know where you are watching from. We've already had somebody let us know they are tuned in from Virginia. Tara Rahi has tweeted, good luck to all the Edgers today. Her husband, Matty Ray, goes over at 4 p.m. It's his second trip over. So, Tara, thanks for getting in touch with us through Twitter. And 4 o'clock seems like a long ways away for some people, but my guess is for your husband, it's either can't come fast enough or maybe he's hoping it takes a little bit of a while. Of course, he's a repeat edger, so probably not as big a deal for him to go over. It looks like our next group is getting harnessed up. We'll let you know who they are in a second. We are in constant communication with the people on the roof. As I mentioned, everybody is assigned a rappel time, and typically they stick pretty close to those rappel times, but occasionally somebody arrives a little bit later than expected, and they do want to keep the event moving, obviously not only for weather reasons, but just in case they do have to have a delay or something like that, it will try to keep everybody on time. So the list of the time you were given by a particular edger might be off slightly, but Jimmy Smith is doing a great job here keeping us posted, as is Katie, our intern, of who's going over and when they are going over. So we will let you know that. Michael Meyer looks like he is going to be, that is Michael there, suited up, and he's on the gold rope. The ropes out front are blue and gold, which with our graphics you really don't need to worry about, but Michael Meyer getting ready to go over the edge. 4 down, 66 to go here at the 4th annual Over the Edge event. Basically, when the edgers arrive, they check in at our front door. They're then escorted upstairs by a few Special Olympics Delaware athletes. They get to meet our athletes and learn a little bit about the cause that they're going over the edge for. And so it's a neat experience for them. At that point, they go upstairs, they get in their safety gear, they sign some forms, and they go up onto they get harnessed up, and they go up onto the roof where they have a practice rappel off a 1-story structure up there. And so that, as you heard Irv Levin mention, if you were tuned in when he was on the air, that kind of gives you the feel of what it feels like, and that's what gave him the confidence of, when I take this first step back off 17 stories, it's no different than when I do it off of that 1 story. There's a shot of the side of the building. You don't see anybody's backside, and we always laugh about that. That's kind of the key thing. When you see somebody's backside coming off of the roof, then it is, they're getting ready. They've taken that first plunge backwards, which I understand is the feeling. Anybody wondering if I've ever done the plunge? Actually, have not the plunge, plunged over the edge, I guess I should say. I have not done it yet. Our staff members, I'm a member of the Special Olympics Delaware staff full time, and our staff members each, we try to rotate, and my name just hasn't come up yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come up next year. Got another tweet from Kara Pokrovsky. She's shouting and making a shout out to her Prima Neen Skis, who's filming on top of the building in Wilmington, 2 blocks away. from Over the Edge. So we've got somebody who's taking photos, Nina Raspa, taking photos from 2 blocks away. So that's kind of a neat thing. We'll have to see. I'll be interested to see how those photos come out. I don't know if we've ever had anybody taking pictures from that far away. So looks like our next 2 edgers are getting ready to go over. Again, tweet us at Over the Edge DE. You can also go to our Facebook page at Special Olympics Delaware and leave a comment there. We will try to get your comment on the air if you want to Facebook us there. And so we look forward to this being an interactive broadcast. We're going to be on the air literally until 4 o'clock when the last one goes over. And so we hope that you'll be part of the broadcast here and let us know, what you see, how you like it, where you're from. Michael Mayer, there you see getting harnessed up. Actually, already harnessed up, getting ready to take that first step backwards. Again, you can see everybody on the roof is tethered, tied, and helmeted, so that we take the great safety precautions there. You see the ropes there, the knots, and all the gadgets there that they have on the left, and the amount of safety that goes into it. At some point, we're going to have Larry Meister, who is the leasing agent for this 300 Delaware Avenue building, which again is owned by Brandywine Realty Trust, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about the process that went through when they decided, Over the Edge decided to do this event. And so it wasn't just a, hey, go up to the roof and tie a couple of ropes together. So that's going to be something that we will see when we talk to Larry, the work and the effort that went into it. So again, Irv Levin, Tom Bernatzakowski, Alan Emerson, and Don Sloan have landed. Don is a retired U.S. Air Force and Federal Civil Service. He actually was a little bit scared of heights, and so he overcame those for that. He has that was his first time, Don Sloan, when he went over. He's done skydiving and some rappelling, and he was an Air Force pilot. So something tells me this probably was a little bit easier for him than it might be for someone else. On the rope right now we have Michael Meyer, and Michael is going to be coming down the building there. We apologize. We didn't get any information ahead of time on Michael, but we can tell you he is probably a quarter of the way down already. Again, this building is 17 stories high, 222 feet, 221 feet, 6 inches to be exact. Michael works for the University of Delaware Police Department. We do know that, and so familiar face. He's been involved in the law enforcement torch run and with Special Olympics for several years with his role at the University of Delaware Police Department. So he's about halfway down there, rappeller number 5 here at the 2014 Over the Edge event for Special Olympics Delaware. We'll let you listen to the music and watch Michael come down the rest of the way.
Getting ready to come down on the blue road. Here comes Michael.
That's the one thing I always liked about Mickey. He never burned anything for justice. But we run with everybody, and the SEC being right next to 95 to get the rest. How about that?
Michael's a repeat edger.
Been around way too long.
All right, give it up for Mike, everybody. Michael, University of Delaware Police Department.
Michael has landed. Michael has landed from the University of Delaware Police Department. Michael Mayer has finished. Again, email us, let us know where you're watching from, info@sode.org, or tweet using hashtag OverTheEdgeDE. This is the 4th annual Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. Don Sloan is down, Alan Emerson is down, Irv Levin, Tom Bernatzakowski, and now Michael Mayer. And so coming up, and again, this is not in any particular order other than I can tell you someone of these next 4 will be down soon. Ralph Citrullo getting ready to come down, and he's getting ready to sit back, and we'll tell you a little bit more about him in just a second.
And here comes Ralph over the edge. Ralph Citrullo, a Special Olympics Delaware board member and a repeat edger. As a matter of fact, this is his 4th year over the edge. He's done it every year since the beginning. And we're happy to have him here this year.
And we're back. We're back. Ralph Citrullo coming down the line. Ralph is a board member for Special Olympics Delaware. This is his 4th year rappelling. Ralph Citrullo, his wife is coming down. Amy also at some point. The first year they did come down together. Doesn't look like they'll be coming down here together as well. So Ralph works for Citrullo and Morgan Group, LLC. As I mentioned, he is a board member. This is his, actually, it is his 4th year. So he has done it every single year. We've got a handful of people who are doing this for the 4th year. He says, they asked him what he's looking forward to the most, and he said, actually enjoying it this year. So, but I can only guess he's enjoyed it in the past, or he wouldn't be back doing it again away. And Ralph, like a lot of folks, are doing it. We always ask him, why do you do this? Why are you involved? And it's for the Special Olympics Delaware athletes. So, Ralph Citrullo. Again, you can tweet us, #OverTheEdgeDE. We want to hear from you where you're from, what you're doing. We've heard from several people already. If you want to email us, if you don't do Twitter, you can email us at info@SODE.org. This is the 4th annual Special Olympics Delaware Over the Edge event. All proceeds for this event stay in state to benefit the 3,700 athletes in Special Olympics Delaware. Michael Mayers, that was his 2nd time coming. And so Ralph Citrullo heading down at this time. 4th board member for Special Olympics Delaware, as you might be able to hear the MC in the background talking about. So Ralph is a veteran. We're going to try to get Ralph in here once he lands and talk to him about his role with Special Olympics. Again, thanks to our sponsors, TD Bank, Brandywine Realty Trust, and Delaware Law Enforcement for Special Olympics Delaware, all heavily involved in this event. Sheraton Suites of Wilmington provided lodging for the Over the Edge staff, and Delaware Rock Gym gave people a chance to come out and practice a couple Fridays ago. Special Olympics Delaware, 3,700 children and adults with intellectual disabilities participating year-round in several sports. If you're interested in being part of Special Olympics in any way, as an athlete, as a unified partner, which is a peer without a disability who plays on the same team as Special Olympics athletes, you want to volunteer or donate, go to our website, SODE.org, and you can find out more information about Special Olympics and how you can get involved. The state is actually split up into 5 areas: Wilmington, MOT, Newark, Kent, and Sussex County, and we'll get you involved in that as well. There you see Mark Wise, a member of the Special Olympics Delaware staff, getting Ralph unhooked. And then up top we have Alejandro Schubert, who is getting ready to go over the edge. Alejandro Schubert getting ready to go over the edge. I've just been notified that Ralph's wife, Amy Citrullo, was not able to make it after all. So unfortunately, if you've tuned in specifically to see Amy, she will not be going over the edge today. She instead did the smart thing, I guess, and sent her husband to go over the edge in her place. So Alejandro Schubert coming up. He works for Terry Schubert Photography Incorporated. His brother Nino is a Special Olympics athlete, and also his mother, Terry Schubert, we know is a strong supporter of Special Olympics. This is his first time, and he says he's thrilled to rappel down this tall building. We'll see if he thinks the same when he lands. He wants to thank his mother for raising a lot of the money for Special Olympics. And you can see on Alejandro's helmet, he has a GoPro camera, and he's our first one of today who will actually be videotaping himself going over the edge. So Alejandro Schubert, first one to do that. People always ask, hey, can I take my cell phone up there and call people on my way down and do that type of thing? We do not allow that. The technicians are very particular, as they should be, for the safety, not only the people on the rope, but the people at the bottom should something fall off. And so the rule of thumb is most things are not permitted unless it can be safely strapped in. As you can see, that GoPro video camera certainly is. So Alejandro will be shooting his descent the entire way down as well. We've had a few people do that over the years, but Alejandro is the first one today. And we're going to try to get Ralph Citrullo in here to talk to him. I can hear in the background he's being interviewed by the MC outside. And we will look forward to talking Ralph when he gets in here. His wife, Amy, was supposed to go down, and she has actually gone down. I believe it's twice before that she has gone down. And so she actually, it would have been her second time. So she was not able to make it, unfortunately, but we know Ralph and Amy Citrullo support this organization in a lot of ways year-round, not just today. So Alejandro Schubert is stood up and looks like getting ready to lean over. And Ralph Citrullo has come in. He looks doesn't look winded. He doesn't look tired. He looks like he's ready to chat a little bit. Ralph, we ask you to put the headsets on there. And Ralph, we've talked about you on the air a lot. Your support, how you and your wife Amy support this organization. And this was your fourth year going down. And you decided, I think, at the last minute to do it. And so 4 years. Does it get any easier? Does it get more enjoyable? What run me through that process. I've never done this once, let alone 4 times.
Well, we're going to have to change that. So I think you're going down next year.
Yeah, I think so too.
It gets easier, but you still have the same stress when you're on top of that wall.
Right.
So I guess the first year I did it, my legs were like pistons, and and they were pounding like I was going 100 miles an hour. But then each year it got easier. The second year I did it with Amy, and I was more concerned about her, so I lost my fear up there.
Right.
And third year wasn't too bad. And this year, it's
old hat.
Yeah,
right?
I was nervous. Don't get me wrong. The guys will tell you I was nervous upstairs. It took a little time to get used to the new release valve, but it was much easier than
that's what I've heard.
Than the other one. So thank God the rain held up. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is it drizzling out there? It's hard for us to tell. Not bad though.
Yeah, a little mist.
Yeah, well, that's good. Now I'll ask you what I've asked a couple other people. Is this the most daring thing you've ever done, or have you ever skydived, jumped, anything like that, or is this probably the most?
This is probably it. I bungee jumped, but that was like maybe 3 or 4 stories into a very soft mat.
See, that would worry me more than this.
But no, so this is definitely I think the biggest thing I've ever done. They did have to push me off the bungee.
Yeah.
They pushed me off the ramp.
You can see on the screen Alejandro Schubert has started his descent. He's taken that first step back. Ralph, talk to me and the crowd, the people listening, about that first step back. Is that just as exhilarating at time number 4 as it is at first time number 1?
No, it's nerve-wracking. And this year, I didn't stand. They didn't have me stand up because there wasn't enough room.
Right.
So I was trying to do it from my knees, and it was really hard. So then I actually did it at a crotch position. It was much easier. So that first step is the hardest step to take. But once you get perpendicular to the wall,
piece of cake. Oh,
so,
great.
So let's get it on record, get it on the air that next year you're in.
You're not the only one to say that, but yeah, okay. I'm in for next year. We'll get it on the record. You can interview me when I come down. I don't think I'm going to be
as calm
as you, so you've already committed. And again, a reminder, anybody that's watching this and says, wow, I want to do that, if you can sign up today for next year. If you go to SODE.org, click on the Over the Edge banner. We've already got the online link ready for next year, so you can sign up. So, Ralph, there's no hesitation. Now, I know you've got twin son and daughter.
Yep.
How old are they now?
They're going to be 2 in June, and they were going to come today.
I was going to ask that, yeah.
But with the rain, and then I think my son had a doctor's appointment at 8:30. So that's why another reason why Amy couldn't make it.
Right.
So Amy will be back next year, and I'll be back, and hopefully the kids can see us next year.
All right. Well, that's great. Well, Ralph, thank you for your support of Special Olympics, not only today but year-round. We appreciate it.
You got it.
All right, up on top you have Alejandro Schubert. Just gave a wave to the crowd, and so he is on his way down. You can tell he looks like one of those guys that's not going to be in any rush getting down, and so he is making his way. And this is his first time coming down, and you can see he's making his way nice and smoothly coming down there. So Alejandro Schubert will be interesting. We will try to get his GoPro video and get that up one way or the other. If not today, certainly in the future. Jimmy Smith's given me the signal that we could probably get it done today. Amazing what Jimmy and his production crew, every single person that has stepped into. We were actually in the conference room right off the lobby, and it looks like something from a CBS, Fox Sports, or NBC production crew here. They've just done a tremendous job. Again, the camera angles you're seeing are actually, one is from the street, one is from a second-floor platform, and one is on the ground, and of course the shots you're seeing from on top of the roof. Our camera operators are Jessica Philippek, Nina Raspa, Mike Winsley, and Jennifer DeLuca. They were here at 7 a.m. laying down cable all over the 300 Delaware Avenue building, and the Brandywine Realty Trust people have been wonderful, and the building people, the managers and folks in making sure we were able to pull this production off. As I mentioned a couple times, we are the first one that we know of to ever record live online this Over the Edge event from start to finish. So let us know you're watching, #OverTheEdgeDE. If you're on Twitter, you can also email us at info@sode.org. Just give us your name and in the subject line, and you can let us know where you're calling from or tuning in from. We would love to hear from you. And Matt Montgomery, who is a member of the Wilmington Wizards, a Special Olympics athlete, has just joined us. If you were listening to WDEL, as we mentioned yesterday, WDEL was here. They did the Rick Jensen show live from up front there, and Matt was a big part of that. And Matt, was that the first time you had been on the radio yesterday?
No, it wasn't. It was actually my second or third time.
I was going to say, if it was the first time, you did an exceptional job. So, you know, obviously you're a veteran there. You did a great job with that. Rick Jensen enjoyed having you on. Rick Jensen was one of a few media people that went over yesterday on Media Day. Rick, of course, WDEL, Melanie Armstrong, his colleague, does the morning news. Went over Gina Paletti at WSDW, Dana McDonald at Cool 101.3, and Steve Mons of Delaware at 105.9 downstate. Steve actually is a DJ for Cool 101.3, but the person who was scheduled to do it for Delaware 105.9 had to back out. Their sister stations, and so Steve came and represented 105.9. He was on the news this morning talking about it. And Matt, you talked about yesterday, you know, what Special Olympics has meant to you over the years, and you know, what is your favorite part about being in Special Olympics?
I might not say my favorite part was just being with all my friends and all the staff at, be it Camp Barnes or at competitions. Right. It's just fun, you know, to see all my friends and have them support me and my fellow athletes.
Now, tell the people listening, what are some of the sports that you compete in?
I do flag football, basketball, bowl, and I also swim.
Okay, so you basically compete in sports year-round.
Yep.
You're getting ready to do swimming for the Summer Games, which is June 6th and 7th up at the University of Delaware. The swim competition will actually take place in the Carpenter Sports Building, named after the same family as the Big Bob, but it's actually referred to as the Little Bob. It's in the same natatorium where the state championships for high school sports are held, and of course the University of Delaware men's and women's swim teams swim there too. So you must be excited about going into a pool that really only a limited number of people ever get to compete in the state of Delaware. Have you been in that pool before?
I have. It's been, I don't know how long, but I remember when I first started, that's where we did our swimming competitions, and then we went outside for the past, I can't even tell you how long.
Now, what events are you going to do? What strokes do you swim?
I am doing the 4x50 medley. I will be doing the breaststroke in that. I'll also be doing the 50-meter free, the 50 butterfly, and the 100 individual medley.
So quite a few strokes. Of all the strokes you just told me, which one is the hardest?
I would have to say the butterfly. I've been practicing it, but I just don't have the motion down yet with the leg.
With the leg kick.
Movement.
Which one tires you out the most? I would think the butterfly. Now, I'm not a swimmer at all. I'm lucky to get from one side of the pool to the other without touching the floor, let alone different strokes. But I have tried the butterfly stroke before, and it wears me out going about 10 feet. So how far is your butterfly event?
It's 25 yards, and then I'll do the breast.
Okay.
Then I'll do No. It's fly, backstroke, then breast, and then freestyle. So 25 each way.
So that's a grueling event. So
Yeah.
Which is there one event? If somebody told you you can only do one stroke, Matt, or one event, which one would be your favorite?
Probably either freestyle or backstroke.
Freestyle or backstroke. All right. So you're an accomplished athlete in Special Olympics. There's no question about that. Those of you looking at the screen, you can see there's kind of a lull here. People are mulling around. As we said, the process goes through. People check in. They come out. Then they go to a practice rappel. There's a one-story structure up on the roof, and so you can get that sense of what it's going to feel like there. What you're looking at is on the bottom where people land. That pylon you see to the right there is the landing zone. You can see we have bleachers out. There's a lot of people here to watch. I know there's a crew coming from William Penn High School to cheer on one of their guidance counselors, Levita Moffat, who is going to be going over the edge, along with her husband, Drew Moffat, who's the principal at Gunning Bedford. And I believe maybe their schools are going to be tuning in as well. So what you see now, you're looking up at the roof, and they're waiting for the next person to come down from the training and have an opportunity to go over the edge. And so Jimmy's just giving me the thumbs up that we've got the GoPro from Alejandro. We're going to talk to Alejandro in a minute. But we're going to get an opportunity to see what it actually looks like literally as they come down. And I'm not sure we've ever seen this in Special Olympics. So we've got a little bit of a break here. I'm going to keep my conversation with Matt going. Matt, I know you work full-time. Tell people where you work and what you do.
I work for Waggies by Maggie and Friends. We're a nonprofit organization that makes dog biscuits 4 days a week at St. Paul's Church on Mondays and Wednesdays on Falk Road in Wilmington, Delaware. Aldersgate on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Concord Pike in Wilmington, Delaware. Just to name a few places you can pick them up. You can pick them up at the Special Olympics Delaware office in Newark, Jansen's Market in Greenville, and Tallyville Vet on Concord Pike right across from Pep Boys.
Well, you tell you're an experienced radio guy, Matt. You got a plug, not only a plug-in for your company, but you told people where they can pick them up. That's great. And we do have them at the Special Olympics Delaware office. What's your favorite part about about being able to go up and get up and go to work in the morning, and you work a schedule around Special Olympics, I assume. What do you enjoy most about what you do at Waggies?
Everything.
Yeah, it's never a bad day at work,
no,
right?
Of course not.
Well, that's what they say. If you've got a job where you never have a bad day, there's nothing better than that. And so, Matt, any thought to ever trying this over the edge event? I don't mean to put you on the spot. As you've probably heard, I've never done it myself, although if you listen to every guest that has come on has basically said I'm doing it next year. So you could think about it. Maybe you and I can do it together. But, Matt, listen, I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks very much for coming on the air. You did a great job yesterday on WDL. I enjoyed having you on today, and next time we have an opportunity and we need a Special Olympics athlete to go on the radio or something, you're the man. Last question for you. You can see fans down there. I know the family. Those are the Moffat family. Her daughters are the two daughters you see there, Drew Bailey and Bree, and they're here. I guess they got a day off from school today to come watch Mom and Dad rappel 17 stories down the building. So I certainly think that's a good reason to take a day off. Matt, wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, of course.
Well, Matt, last thing I want to talk to you about, you are into social media as much, if not more, than I am. We're Facebook friends. You do a lot of it, but you also manage the Facebook page for the Wilmington Wizards, correct?
Yep.
And has that been challenging? You enjoy that experience, or what do you like about that?
I love managing the Facebook page. I get every once in a while I'll get an email from our area director, Dave Cloud, saying, I need you to put this on the Facebook page. Like, for instance, we've had to postpone bocce practice with the weather and everything else.
Right.
Or I'll put stuff on there about an area social event or the or practices.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Now tell me, you're here today. I think you said you don't work normally today, so you came back out to support the people that are going down to benefit Special Olympics, obviously an organization near and dear to your heart. 3,700 athletes who participate year-round in 20 sports. It's completely free. Nobody ever has to pay for anything. There are no registration fees. Equipment's paid for. Uniforms are paid for. And any other expenses are taken care of, all because of a fundraiser like this event. Last question for you, Matt. What are you going to do when you leave here and get off the air? Are you here to volunteer? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'll be here from 12 to about 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Phil Hagen and his wife, Phil runs our Waggies website. He's and his wife are going to be over, heading over at about, I guess, 10, 20.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm here to watch them, and then I was going to volunteer from about 12 to 4.
Oh, great. So you're here not only to support people, but to volunteer as
right.
well.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
All right, well, great, Matt. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks,
we appreciate
John.
it very much. Great job, and we'll
much,
be in touch.
Okay.
All right, you're back here. You see Michael Truno Sr. up on the roof getting ready to go down. Special thanks to Matt Montgomery for joining us. Matt's always a great person to talk to. I enjoy chatting back and forth with him on Facebook. Matt's a graduate of Howard High School right down the street from here. He's a big Wildcat fan, still follows him very closely. Also a huge Blue Rocks fan. And you Blue Rocks fans know the name Kayla Miller. You probably purchased a lot of souvenirs from her and seen her dancing on the dugout. Kayla is actually going to be coming on the air before she goes down, and then she is rappelling, as you see Michael Truno taking that first dip over. So Michael is a parent to an athlete, Chris Truno. Chris actually spoke at the cocktail reception last night. It's his first time as an edger, but he's volunteered the past couple of years. And so Michael going over.
We're coming down nicely on that blue rope. We have Sean Ryan.
Sean Ryan is the other one coming down on the blue rope. Blue rope is the one to your left. He works for the Newcastle County Police Department. And so we've got Sean Ryan, first-time edger, and Michael Truno, first-time edger. So 2 first-time edgers on the side of the building at the same time. First time that's happened today, but probably not the last. Again, Michael Truno is the parent of a Special Olympics athlete and wants to thank his family and friends who contributed to Special Olympics. We're going to get Alejandro to come on the air with us real quick and talk about his experience. As you see, Michael and Sean Ryan heading down the side of the building. They're almost have almost landed. Alejandro, that was your first time going, right? And so your first time going, and how do you feel now that you're at the bottom? As we just see somebody land there on the screen, another person has landed safely. Sean Ryan is down, and so Michael Truno is not far behind him. Alejandro, tell me about the experience.
I feel like somebody, the way somebody feels when they get off a roller coaster and feels like it was too short. I wish I could go longer. It was a blast. It was a total blast.
Well, I know we have some afternoon slots. If you can get somebody to sponsor you for another $1,100, you
right,
can probably go down again.
Right. I should work on my sales skills.
Is it safe to say it's not your last time doing this? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I read your bio here. It says you've jumped off a 50-foot cliff into a river.
Yeah.
Which was scarier, that or this?
Oh, the river for sure. Because
I would think.
This thing is 100 times safer, if not more.
Now, when you jumped into that river, is it the type of thing, we've probably all seen it on, when you watch TV and you see that type of thing, but do you actually go down into the river and kind of scout it out before you dive in, or you just...
It was a slow-moving river.
Yeah.
But we knew the water was going to be cold. But it was a little colder than I thought it would be. You kind of feel shock when you hit the water because it's so freezing cold.
Right.
I've never swum faster in my life.
But so at least and I guess this landing today was a little bit softer.
a lot softer, yeah. A lot drier too.
There you go. Drier. Now you say you dove into the river literally head first?
No, feet first.
Okay,
feet first. I'm not an expert.
Not yet. It's not there. Your brother Nino is a Special Olympics athlete. What sports does he participate in?
Oh, he loves to do as many of them as possible. He especially likes the basketball ones for sure.
Oh, yeah.
He really loves those. In the winter, he likes to do the snowshoeing too, and the polar bear plunge. And he loves doing it all. He's wonderful.
Now, have you done the plunge yet?
I'm better with heights than I am with cold.
Just from your hesitation tells me no, but you know, I
am a lot better with heights than I am with the cold water.
That's funny. Well, how has Special Olympics impacted not only your brother Nino's life, but your family as a whole?
Oh, it's a total blast because when we go there, he's like a kid in Disney World. I mean, it is just it really brings a lot of warmth.
Right.
When you see not just him, but all of the other kids in the Special Olympics, like you can see it in their eyes, the happiness and the fun that they're having.
Right.
It's just, it's really awesome. I mean, the Special Olympics is a very good organization. It does a lot for families.
That's great to hear. Is Nino here today watching you? Did he come?
He's not here today.
No, I don't think he's doing. But my guess is you had the GoPro on your
yeah,
helmet?
so we're going to show him the footage as soon as.
That's great. And we're going to show it, too, if we get a chance to break. You know, we've got some opportunities where we have breaks, and we're going to show that as well as some Special Olympics commercials to go with it where people will actually be able to see what you're talking about. So
awesome.
Certainly thank you for your contribution today.
We should thank my mother and his mother.
We did, but I'm glad you mentioned that again.
She did the fundraising,
That's
so
great.
She deserves the credit. And I want to thank the people that donated for her as well. They're donating for a very good cause.
Absolutely, and nobody can say it better. You know, we always say are the best spokespeople for Special Olympics are the athletes themselves, but a close second are the family members who have seen the impact it makes. So thank you very much for all your contributions.
Whoever's listening, donate to the Special Olympics. Do it now.
There you go. Can't beat that. And if you want to donate, you can go to SODE.org and you can click on the Special Olympics. You'll see a donate button at the top, and you can go ahead and click on that and make a donation online. You'll also see information if you prefer to send a check. Any of you that know these folks who are rappelling, most of them, if not all of them, have set up first giving pages. As you see Michael Truno land his first rappel completed. We'll try to get him on the air as he gets unbelted and makes his way through the lobby. So again, SODE.org is where you can make a donation. You can also go to firstgiving.com and look up the person who you would like to support, and you can support them still, even if they've already gone down, they are still accepting donations. Every dime raised goes to Special Olympics Delaware. 3,700 athletes across the state, children and adults, competing in 20 sports. Tim Furlong from NBC just ducked in and gave me a thumbs up that he is here, so make sure you tune into NBC News. I'm not sure if he'll be on the air at noon or not till tonight, but he certainly will be able, he's got a perspective. I know he went up on the roof and was able to go over. Levita Moffitt, you see, she is the one I was talking about from William Penn High School. And I'm going to put the headsets on someone very near and dear to my heart. Happens to be my wife, Patty. And when I asked her this morning before I left the house at 5:30 whether she would be willing to come on the air with me or not, she said, only if you ask the questions. And I quickly said, that's exactly what I plan to do. That's how I get the questions answered that I want. Levita and Patty teach together. Patty is a Spanish teacher at William Penn High School. She constantly reminds me, 23 years in, 7 years to go. She always emphasizes the 7 years to go part of that. Loves her job at William Penn. Levita is an alumnus of William Penn. Levita was an All-American field hockey player at Michigan. I know she has already agreed to come on the air when she's done, and I'm going to ask her which was harder, becoming an All-American or going over the edge. You saw pictures of Levita's daughters, Drew, Bailey, and Bree, at the bottom of the Over the Edge event, what we call the landing area, and I know they're excited to see her come down. Levita's husband, Drew, who is the principal at Gunning Bedford, also in the Colonial School District, is going to be making his way down, too. Levita was hoping they'd be able to race down, but as she pointed out to her friends on her Facebook page, the technicians do not encourage that or allow it. In fact, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that if you go too fast, the rope does lock up in a safe way, and it literally stops you from going. Levita is a guidance counselor at William Penn. She was a longtime field hockey coach there, very successful. She has retired from that position, but still is a counselor. And so I'll bring my wife, Patty Busby, in, and we chose not to bring our children today. And Patty, you'll be glad to know, or maybe not glad to know, that everybody I've had on the air has said that I am going over the edge tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, sorry. It won't be available tomorrow, next year. And so we'll have our boys here for that. There is Drew Moffitt. You can hear the cheering down. Drew, the principal at Gunning Bedford. And Levita and Drew both raised a lot of money through their schools. Patty heads up the Project Unify group for Special Olympics Delaware. And Patty, talk to us a little bit about what you did at your school to help them raise the $1,100 to go over the edge.
We did a fundraiser, and we did a Have a Heart, Buy a Heart. And we sold hearts that had words like compassionate and kind and unified and responsible. And our students bought them for $1 each, and every time they bought a heart, their name got entered into a raffle to get picked to come along and watch the event live today. Hopefully our school is watching it live today, and some classrooms have it streaming in so that they can see it happening as we are sitting here. But we have some students outside, and I'm sure they're cheering because they love Mrs. Moffitt. So
yeah, I can say, you know, this I've lost count whether Levita's the 7th or 8th to go down, and certainly the most cheers they've had, so you can see a large group. I know William Penn's Special Olympics team was planning to come watch. I'm not sure if they're out. Did you see them out there?
They're coming at 11 to see Kim Bates.
Oh, okay. They're coming at 11 to see somebody, one of their students. Justin Bates is a student at William Penn, and his mom is coming over, so they're coming to cheer him on. So that's great. You know, Patty, Project Unify goes on statewide. We have it entrenched in a lot of different schools, and it's relatively young at William Penn. Have you seen how getting those folks involved in Project Unify and more entrenched in Special Olympics, how has that impacted the culture at your school?
I think it was more the senior class this year that really embraced the kids in Luke Wittenbach's class and Kristen Dassel's class. They really embraced a couple of those kids, and it sort of just took on a meeting of its own. We had Jay Rinn, who was nominated as the prom king or the homecoming king this year, and that was a huge thing for him, and our students totally embraced it, and they love it, and we have a lot of students in our school involved just through daily encounters with our special needs students, and they've been this has sort of taken off on its own.
And, you know, that's what we've heard from people all over the different schools that do this. There you can see the Moffitts coming down. When I talked to Julian Levita, I'll let him know at one point he was there. Those are the students from William Penn you see waving at the bottom there, looking up and cheering on. As Patty mentioned, everybody loves Mrs. Moffitt, and there she makes her first step. I understand that first step over that little edge, as Patty said, oh gosh.
My hands are sweating.
I guess you're not going with me next year.
No chance.
I still haven't talked her into doing the plunge either, despite being together now for almost 10 years. So there you see Levita Moffitt on the left, Drew Moffitt on the right. Again, Levita, guidance counselor at William Penn High School. Drew Moffitt on the right. He actually has a CASTLE program, it's called, at Gunning Bedford, and they are involved in Special Olympics. So coming down there, they enjoy what they're doing. They wanted to thank all their fundraisers, including Patty and the William Penn Group. And I know Drew did a couple of unique things at Gunning Bedford, where he had a jeans day, or a hat day, I guess it was. Hat day where you paid $1 and you got to wear a hat. And so it was hearts at William Penn and hats at Gunning Bedford. The bottom line is they both surpassed their goal of $1,100, and all that money comes to Special Olympics Delaware. Patty wants to head out. Thank you for being part of the broadcast, Patty, quickly. And we will talk to you later. Thanks for supporting Special Olympics. And again, Patty doesn't do it because of my involvement in Special Olympics. She does it because she truly believes in the cause. So Patty Busby coming out to welcome Levita, her colleague, and Drew, who both Levita and Drew are good friends of ours. And they are heading down the building looking like no problem at all. I didn't expect it to be. I mentioned Levita is an All-American, former All-American field hockey player at Michigan, so I figured this would be a piece of cake for her. Drew, also a very accomplished athlete, and so looks like he's not having any problem either at all. With me is Mike Truno. Mike, you just landed.
Yes.
And sounds like you caught your breath.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
For the first time, it's a little different. I had a little trouble locking up a few times, but I really didn't look down too much, to be honest with you. But it was fine. It was nice to do, and it's certainly for a great cause. And while I have the second, I want to thank all my family and friends who are so very generous in donating for Special Olympics and help supporting my son, Chris. And it's very much appreciated. And a special hello to my granddaughters, Olivia and Ava.
Oh, there you go. And, were they out here watching?
No, they had to be in school.
Oh, that's
They'll
too
see
bad.
the video.
There you go. I was going to say that's a great thing. It's Levita and Drew making their final descent here. They haven't locked up. You mentioned Mike locking up. That happens when you go too fast, correct?
Yes.
So that means you must have been very comfortable to be going down that fast once you got going.
Honestly, I never gave it one thought before I got on that roof. So I just didn't think about it. I wasn't nervous. I really can't say I'm afraid of heights. But it's like you said, once you take that first leap over there, you get a little intense and all like that. I just didn't want to lock up too far and hold the works up. So.
Well, we had Ralph Citrullo on, who's done it for the fourth time, and he said, it never gets old.
No.
It's one of those things that never gets old, and that first squat back is just as intimidating the fourth time it is the first time. All right, so your wife's done it. Your one son has done it.
Yes.
You have now done it. Chris already announced at the cocktail reception. He did a great job last night being part of that, speaking to the audience that he's not doing it. So who's next for the Truno family? Or is somebody going to have to come back? Oh, Chris might be doing it.
He might have second thoughts.
There you go. Well, I've never done it either, and everybody tells me I'm doing it next year. So maybe Chris and I will go down together.
You go.
Listen, Mike, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your support of this.
You're quite welcome.
To the entire Truno family there, folks. You see the Moffats at the bottom, successful at the end there. Trunos support this organization from top to bottom. They're volunteers. They raise money for us. You've heard a couple parents talk about what this really means to them. So the Special Olympics Delaware, 3,700 children and adults with intellectual disabilities competing in sports year-round. You just heard from Mike what it means to his family. You also heard from Alejandro a minute ago. Thumbs up from Levita Moffat. We'll have the Moffats in here in just a minute. Got a tweet from Tara Rahi saying she loves the live feed and loves interviewing everybody, and we appreciate that. We're glad to be part of your day today. As we mentioned, this is the first time this has ever been streamed online live. We are a little bit over 1 hour in. Jimmy Smith with me here working the board. All the different camera angles you're seeing are thanks to his great production crew, our camera operators, Jessica Philippek, Nina Raspa, Mike Winsley, and Jennifer DeLuca. You see Mark Wise, he's on the Special Olympics staff job. His job there is to get the equipment in the crate and back upstairs for the next person coming up. So we're going to get Drew and Levita in here in a minute. Once again, thanks to our sponsors, TD Bank, Brandywine Realty Trust, Delaware Law Enforcement for Special Olympics, Sheraton Suites Wilmington, and the Delaware Rock Gym. This is the fourth annual event in 3 years. More than $355,000 has been raised for Special Olympics Delaware. We're expecting to surpass probably $75,000 this year, which will put us almost at $500,000. Almost at $500,000 at this year's events. In the end, there's going to be 75 people who will have gone over, and that counted the media people that went over yesterday. Rick Jensen, Melanie Armstrong from WDEL, Gina Paletti from WSDW, Dana McDonald from Cool 101.3, and Steve Mons, who's on in the afternoons, also on Cool 101.3. Neat fact for you, approximately 30% of the edgers in Delaware over the 4 years have been repeat edgers. This year, 41% of them will have gone over already one time, and that is a phenomenal rate. We're told the average worldwide for Over the Event USA is about 5%. So that not only tells you about how much people enjoy this event, it tells you what a great job the Over the Edge people do, but also what a great cause this is. Kayla Miller has tweeted that she's so excited for 2:20, which basically is the time that she is going to go over the edge. We actually got a tweet from Over the Edge Global. Congrats on your fourth-year event from all of us at Over the Edge. We're watching from all across the globe, and that's great to hear. That's exactly what we wanted, not only to give our edgers the opportunity to be seen coming down this building, but just as importantly, to know more about Special Olympics. You can donate to Special Olympics at SODE.org. Also, if you're watching this event and you're thinking, geez, this is something I want to do next year, you can see Drew Moffat there gathering his family and those kids from some Gunning Bedford, where Drew is a much beloved principal, as you can see there, getting some photo ops, and we'll get him in here on the microphone. But if you want to sign up for next year, again, go to SODE.org. Click on the Over the Edge banner you'll see toward the bottom of the page, and that will take you to the Over the Edge landing page that not only provides you with a link to this live broadcast, but also the link to sign up for next year. It's $50 to reserve your spot, and then you'll have all year to raise the additional $1,050. I was going to say $1,050 in that $10,000 part.
slipped out. If you want to raise $10,000, that's great. We actually have about 10 people who have raised more than $2,000. They will actually have a live video done for themselves that they'll be able to package together on a disc and send out and do whatever it is they want. Up there on the screen you can see Senator Greg Lavelle, and he's going to be joined by his wife Ruth Lavelle. They are actually parents of a Special Olympics athlete, and Greg and Matt. Greg is one of those guys who has done it for the 4th time. He says the 4th time is a charm. He works full-time at Puglisi and Associates, and as I mentioned, he is also a Delaware State Senator, a big proponent of Special Olympics Delaware and people with intellectual disabilities in a lot of different areas. So 4th-timer Greg Lavelle. He says he's a little bit scared of hitting the ground before he's ready. He enjoys going down. He wants to take his time, and we hear a lot of people say that, especially the ones who do it for a 2nd time, that they plan to enjoy the view. There's Greg's wife, Ruth, on the right. They're going to go down together as they have done in the past. She is a repeat edger as well. Greg plunged for the first time this past year. He said he loved the 50-degree temperatures. Those of you who have plunged before, you know that 50 degrees is almost, you can't count that as a plunge. It's just not quite cold enough. So he had a great time that first year. We'll see if he follows up if it's a little bit colder. So Ruth has dipped over. You hear the crowd cheering from below. No hands. One of our first edgers to go with the no hands there. A nice shot of Ruth there getting down there. You know you're a repeat edger when you're up there on the top and you go with no hands. So we're into hour number 2 of this, what's going to be probably a 7-hour broadcast by Jimmy Smith and his production staff here. They've done an exceptional job getting us not only set up and running, but the camera angles and things that they've been able to do here. We've had several people go all over already, and several more yet to come. We've got the Moffats who are going to be touching base in here for an interview in a second. And Alejandro Schubert has gone over. I know Marianne Evans is due to go over soon. We have John Godwin Jr. probably as well. And you can see there a angle there from the building. While we've got a quick break there, we're going to show you Alejandro Schubert's GoPro. At that view. I have been up on the roof when we did the walkthrough for today's production, but I've never seen that view. Our intern Katie here, Katie, certainly I imagine if you're still working in the area next year at this time, you'll be signed up. You and I can go down together. Maybe we'll convince Jimmy to go with us. You heard my wife a few minutes ago. I got no shot of getting her to go down with me, so it's going to have to be one of you two there. Very neat view there. Thanks to Alejandro for giving us his GoPro. We're going to hang on to and watch this GoPro as long as we can. We don't want to miss the Lavelles going down. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Both Lavelles are squatted backwards, getting ready to go over, but neither has started their descent now. So we will let you enjoy this GoPro view of Alejandro Schubert. Again, Alejandro, if you missed it, his brother is a Special Olympics athlete, and so he talked about how much this organization means to not only him and his brother, but his entire family. And you heard Mike Truano mention that as well, whose son Christopher has almost committed to going over the edge. So, again, you're listening to the live broadcast of the 2014 Over the Edge event to benefit Special Olympics Delaware. There are the Lavelles back up. You got Greg Lavelle, and there you can see the two of them, husband and wife. So this is now 2 times in a row we've had a husband and wife group go over. It's becoming more of a common thing. We've had siblings go over together. We've had mother-daughters go over together. We've had husband and wives go over together. Later on today, there will be a Special Olympics athlete, Jonathan Stocklosa, who will be going over the edge. And so he'll actually be doing it for the 2nd year. Jonathan's a power lifter. He bench presses some incredible amount of weight. I want to say it's 275 pounds or something like that. So he's not going to have any trouble with the strength part of this. Again, if you're listening, let us know where you're listening from. If you are on Twitter, you can use hashtag OverTheEdgeDE. Or if you prefer to send us an email, do it to info@sode.org and just put in the subject line your name and where you are calling from. And we'll get your name on the air and give you a mention. If you've got a shout-out to somebody, we'll let them know that as well. The 2014 Over the Edge event sponsors TD Bank and Brandywine Realty Trust. Here come the Lavelles. They've made that first step over the lip on their way down. I know Marianne Evans, who's also a fourth-year edger, she is probably on the roof in training right now. If you've tuned in to watch her, I assume John Godwin is as well. Right now, we are approaching 100 viewers currently on this, so we're excited about that. 100 people who got to watch somebody. We assume that you know somebody coming down, or if not, you've just tuned in. That's great too. And a reminder, if you've tuned in and looking at this and say, "Wow, that's something neat. I'd like to do that next year," you can already sign up for next year. Go to SODE.org, click on the Over the Edge banner near the bottom of the page, and you'll go to the landing page where you can click on 2015 registration, get signed up. We only need a $50 commitment. You can make that by credit card today, and you have 12 months to raise the money. And we've already talked to some people, and you've heard stories about how the money has been raised, and there's plenty of other stories out there. We actually have a fundraising tips page on the landing page where you can learn a little bit more about how easy it is to raise money for this event. As I said, a 41% repeat edger rate here in the state of Delaware. 5% is the rate nationally, so we are very happy about that. Again, thanks to Tim Furlong. I see he's sending out several tweets. And he joked, he said, "I like telling people their ropes look loose as they went over the edge from up top." So, we appreciate Tim Furlong being here today. Look for his coverage on NBC News later in Philly. So, thanks to Tim for coming out today. Again, tweet us at #OverTheEdgeDE. Let us know, give us a shout out to somebody, or let us know where you're watching from so we can talk about it. And so, Over the Edge, Delaware, 2014.
Look at this, how nice. They're coming down arm in arm.
That's what they say. It's less hand strength for them. The original one was their hand strength.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let them hear ya! Both repeat edgers.
All right. The Lavelles are heading down, and they are getting ready to land. And when they do, we're going to show you a quick 30-second video which kind of summarizes what Special Olympics is all about. Greg and Ruth Lavelle have landed once again, and this is what Special Olympics is all about.
I used to never really talk, ever. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. It helped me to find my voice. And now everyone else is speechless.
And that video pretty much says it all about what Special Olympics is and what it does for this organization. Joining me is Sean Green, sports director for WDEL. Sean, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
And you're not quite as nervous as the last time you were here.
yeah, I don't have to go up to the top. I'm not filming anyone, and I have gone over the edge of this building.
You have. In fact, was it the first year you did it?
It was the first year, 2011.
And so you jumped right in there, so to speak. Sean, of course, covers high school and college sports around the state for WDEL. He's become a very good friend of mine as well. Probably thanks to Facebook more than anything else. We chat quite a bit on Facebook about the world of sports and other things going on. And Sean, I think one of the neatest things about your story is, you were always a proponent of Special Olympics to begin with, and then you started getting more involved, and your godson now participates in Special Olympics.
Yeah, I started with Special Olympics back in 2004 when I was actually working a job down in Lewis, Delaware, and I did the polar bear plunge, and it was just a fun event to do during the winter because who doesn't want to go swimming in February down in Rehoboth Beach? But then my best friend had a son in, I guess if I do the math right, it would be 2008, and they named me as the Godfather. I'm like, all right, oh, that's nice. Right. Then about 2 years later, he started to show some signs of not quite picking up everything. His learning wasn't at the pace it was, and we eventually learned that he had autism.
Right.
And as it turns out, about a year later, you send an email to me going, well, you love jumping into 37-degree ocean water. I have something that would be right up your alley. And then you describe what it is, rappelling off the side of a 17-story building. Cold water and fear of heights are two totally different ball games.
Right.
But I do have to say that when you think about the battles that Jacob fights on a day-to-day basis, just trying to learn things, trying to show emotion, and really my best friend and his wife trying to pick up on those things, it's much a battle for him as it is for them in terms of just trying to communicate and have fun. And he got involved with Special Olympics. He's doing the equestrian events. He's doing the swimming.
Wow.
And the smile on his face, about the only place that I'm told he's happier is Disney. And I get a chance to go down with him in August and experience that. But the kids are having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, maybe this isn't NCAA Division I level competition, but you typically don't see those athletes smiling when they're on the court.
You're right.
I mean, you had a chance you talked me into going to a basketball skills thing at McCain last year, and everyone's just having a blast.
Right.
And that's I mean, when it comes down to it, that's what sports is all about. And the chance for those kids to gain the confidence, to have some, somewhere in there are memories.
Right.
I mean, they may not be able to show it, but
Sure.
they know what they've done.
Right.
And it's priceless.
Yeah, and that's a great perspective. And I don't have a child or any relative with special needs, and so it's always interesting to hear somebody else's perspective. We've talked to parents today already, but you're somebody who's not directly a relative, but I think a godparent is as close to being a relative as you can be. So thanks for sharing that story. On the ropes, you see Marianne Evans. Mary Evans, speaking of parents, she's a parent of a Special Olympics athlete. Her daughter Leanne is a Special Olympics athlete and has been for years. Leanne comes to our camp every year at Camp Barnes. This is Marianne's 4th year going over, and of course Leanne is her inspiration. Now, Sean, think back 4 years ago when you did this on Media Day. Marianne's at that point where she's just getting ready to dip her backside over the edge. What went through your mind when this was going on?
Please don't soil my pants. There was a lot of fear because with my fear of heights, I couldn't look down.
Right.
So I'm trying in my mind to find some way to not think about what I'm doing but still enjoy the experience at the same time. I'm jealous of the people that when they're in that position are totally smiling, looking down, going, hey, look at me. And it looks like, looking at her smile there, I can see a couple of deep breaths, but it looks like she's having a good time and she looks ready for the challenge.
Yeah, she's a veteran, that's for sure. Marianne Evans from Smyrna, Delaware. A couple quick tweets from Christian Zambrana. Go William Penn High School. Go Mrs. Moffitt. Jump already. They said, well, she's already landed. Delaware. Great job with a live feed. That's a shout out to our production staff here. She's too chicken to go over herself, he or she, but thank you to those that do for Special Olympics Delaware. So thanks to Delaware and Christian Zambrana for giving us a shout out. Sean, are you? I know you do quite a bit of flying with your broadcasting career. Does that bother you, flying?
Flying doesn't bother me.
No?
It's simply the idea that I look down and there's not a whole lot between me and 180 feet. I mean, that's the
not even we don't even have a mat at the bottom.
No. Although, quite frankly, at the top you can barely. It could look like a mat. I mean, it can be a little tough to tell, and people are like, well, it's not 100 stories like the Empire State Building, whatever it is. Yeah. 17 stories is pretty high.
High enough. Rick Jensen had somebody, your colleague at WDL, yesterday when he went over on Media Day, he had somebody videotaping him, and the videographer was up there, obviously, and looked down and said, they look like Lego people. And I thought, you know what? What a perfect description.
And there she goes.
To go that. There she goes, Marianne. All right, so, Sean, I'm going to let you, you're a great play-by-play guy, so I'm going to let you kind of comment on, as we see where Marianne is at, the different things that you experienced as you went down that building. And we got somebody else going down as well. And we'll find out who that is for you in just a second. John Godwin Jr., there you go. John Godwin Jr. is on the right. Marianne is on the left. So what's going through Marianne's lip? That first lip that people are seeing, Sean, what's that like going over that?
Well, I actually found that to be a little easier because when you mentioned you take your backside back
right.
and you're kind of almost in a V position for a very brief position, your foot can hit that initial girder, but then when you pass it, you're kind of suspended that the windows there aren't quite close enough where you can walk down like you might hope to. But
right.
as you see, was it John on the
Godwin,
right there?
yeah.
He's pretty much given on that. He's just kind of rappelling down, and you have the option with that device how fast you want to go down, and it appears he's taking the express lane.
Yeah,
he's going down as fast as anyone I've seen in a while.
He either works for or owns the Korean Martial Arts Institute. Actually, one of my former neighbors goes to his studio, for lack of a better term, gym, whatever they call it in martial arts, and so. He's very athletic, obviously, and so he got down with no problem. He's one of these folks who has no affiliation with Special Olympics. He just thought it was a great cause, something he wanted to do. He wanted to thank the staff and families at the Korean Martial Arts Institute. They made it possible for him to become an edger. He's done the Go Ape thing at Lum's Pond, which I know you've done.
I have
right?
not done that.
Oh, I
no.
thought you had done that. I thought I saw a special on that.
No,
Well,
that
you
was,
can add that to
Andrew
your summer
Scroy,
list.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I've done the Go Ape thing myself, and I'm not afraid of heights, even though I've never done this. But it's something that I did last summer, and I've done a little bit of zip lining, nothing to that extreme. You can see Marianne Evans heading down here. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, what I want to see when you have the close up there is you can see through those windows, and I've always wondered what it would be like to be the office worker on the other side, having people continue to come down. And there were, as I recall, the 17 stories when I went down, there were at least 2 or 3 where somebody was there. And in the first year, they didn't quite know what was going on, especially because it was the media day, so I was like the 5th person over. So it's like, hi.
Yeah. I wonder how much work gets done in those offices today. But anyways, you can see Marianne coming down. This is her 4th time. Sean mentioned sometimes you get locked up. You get locked up if you go too fast.
Yes.
And then they basically talk you down and how to get out of that. So Marianne's making the rest of her descent. The Moffats have joined us here in the broadcast area, so we're going to we'd like to get both of them on. I'm not sure if their daughters are going to be willing to come on and talk about the experience as well. I'll let them make that decision. But Drew and Levita, you can decide who wants to come on, which of you two want to come on first. Sean, you can hang around for a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right, we appreciate you being here. Sean's going to turn his headset over. Looks like Drew is coming over first. I know technically you weren't racing down, but I think you won.
I thought I won as well. I got a little hold up at the end where it locked up on me, but other than that, I did make it to the second level first.
Well, the good thing is it locks up if you're going too fast.
That's correct.
I'm afraid when I go down, it's going to lock up because they got me on a clock, like the marathon where they come and they pick you up on
Absolutely,
the streets.
absolutely.
What was it like?
Oh, it was a great experience. I mean, exciting from the point you walked out on the roof and went through your trial run and your practice run till, everybody helping you up on the roof was just great experience. The adrenaline was running through you.
Yeah.
And then we had a great cheering section with both of our schools represented and, of course, cheering the Moffats on going down.
That's right.
So just a fantastic experience.
I don't know if you heard it from up top, but there was a Moffat chant going on.
Amazingly enough, and I told my students you could hear them from 17 stories up, so great to hear.
Well, it's funny because we've got a crowd mic out there, so I can hear in one of my ears what's going on out there. And you guys got the biggest cheers, of everybody. The big, so you did accomplish that. Principal at Gunning Bedford, you've obviously we're friends with your family,
yes.
And so you know a lot about Special Olympics coming in that. But you've got a group of autistic children with autism at your group, and have you seen the atmosphere over the years in your role, both as a teacher at William Penn and now an administrator at Gunning Bedford? The atmosphere for the acceptance and actually people wanting to make people with special needs, intellectual disabilities, be part of the school community.
Absolutely. I mean, especially this year in particular. With again, this is a new program to us that just began. We actually had several of those students joining us here today. The acceptance has been amazing. We've done the spread the word to end the word for several years now, and then of course this just was a great next step to do some fundraising. We've done penny drives within our cafeteria, so the excitement there, having kids donate, a little competition amongst the grades, and actually these students with some of the special needs were the students going around doing the collecting. So a lot of interaction with all of our so-called regular students with those special needs students. And again, the acceptance is just continuing to spread. Students want to be a part, want to associate with them, so it's great to see.
Now, was this being streamed live back at Gunny Bedford?
It was being streamed live. Our 6th grade actually raised the most, so they definitely had it. We had them established, but we sent the link out to everyone, so I'm pretty sure most saw it.
You guys got several tweets. Najee Sherwood tweeted out, "Go Mr. and Mrs. Wofford." Miss Scully's class supports you. Christian Zambrano was tweeting, and so you got several followers
via that way.
See that, yeah. It'll be interesting to see your Facebook pages later. And watch that as that goes on. So, the key question here: will you do it again?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that was just, now that I know how to do it, even it seems like it would be that much easier in the future. But great views of the city of Wilmington. And then just, again, the atmosphere in general and knowing it's for such a great cause, we would definitely do it again in the future.
Well, now I know the next time I need a roof repair or somebody go up on the roof, I know who to call.
There you go.
That'll be a piece of cake compared to this.
Will do.
All right. Well, Drew, thanks for being part of the event. Thanks for stopping by. And don't worry, I got your back when it talks about who won the race.
I appreciate that, John. Thank you very much.
Speaking of that, we're going to bring on Drew's wife, Lavita Moffitt. Lavita is a guidance counselor at William Penn High School. Lavita, we were talking about your career at the University of Michigan as a field hockey player. So you're obviously a very accomplished athlete. How does this compare to that? You know, was it obviously it's a different sport. It's a different thing. You know, you've played in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people over the years. Where does this compare?
I think the adrenaline rush is very similar. I was saying to my husband on the way down, I was like, my heart is pounding. I feel like this is like so exciting and just exhilarating. The emotions that I was going through as I was going down. Of course, you know, my husband and I sat down and we said, you know, look, are we racing or are we not racing? We're both very competitive people.
Drew said from the beginning he was racing.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's I think where it all started. And then we had spoken to you and we were both very afraid of being locked up and being made fun of because we locked up. So we were very cautious. And when I actually stepped out on the rooftop, I wasn't nervous at all until I actually stepped on the edge. And then I was like, I think I'm feeling a little nervous now. Little pregame jitters. But, I definitely think that my experience as an athlete at the collegiate level made it a little less anxiety prone. But definitely, you know, just an amazing experience, and I would absolutely do it again, and I would encourage others to do it because it's a once in a lifetime. Well, hopefully not for me. Hopefully I'll be doing it more.
That's right.
But for people, it is a once in a lifetime opportunity for some of them. So.
Well, and those people who want to sign up for next year already, you can go to SOD.org, click the banner for Over the Edge, and sign up next year. We only need $50 today, and you can start fundraising. Gives you 12 months to fundraise. You're